Okay, this is absolutely bonkers. What's going on, everybody? My name is Blitzwinger. Ladies and gentlemen, we have got ourselves another Marvel Rivals update, and boy, oh boy, is this a big one. We're talking about 500 megabytes dropping tonight for the brand new update of Marvel Rivals, but in addition to that, along with the update, we've got a slew of insane leaks indicating that Daredevil and the Merc with the Mouth might be around the corner much sooner than we all thought. Insights on Daredevil, a brand new skin, a brand new event that allows you to also earn a bunch of free currency, and much more. But of course, before we get into all the details, don't forget, guys, if you do enjoy today's Marvel Rivals update video and you guys are as excited as I am to see where this game heads next, please don't forget to scroll on down, smash that thumbs up button. Let's aim for 1,000 likes. And without further ado, let's dive into the news. So of course, like always, we kick things off with the cosmetics. There's only going to be one skin being added into the Marvel Rivals shop tonight, which is interesting because usually we obviously have gotten used to 2 skins dropping, but this week they are only dropping 1. It will be the Phoenix Chaos version of the Scarlet Witch. Interestingly enough, just like last week where we got some legendary skins, this week, once again, this is a legendary skin, which means that the skin itself or the costume itself will run you 2,200 points if you would like to go ahead and purchase it. Now, the cool thing is that not only are they dropping the skin, but they're also going to release an actual emoji bundle that will be available as well. Now, the emoji bundle on its own will be available to purchase for 600 units, but the cool thing that they're doing is that they're actually going to bundle the emojis with the skin bundle for 2,500 units. So basically, you're getting like a 300 unit discount on the emojis. So if you're a Scarlet Witch fan, that sounds like a pretty nice value, getting everything that you would usually expect. Of course, you will also have an animated nameplate with this one, so that is definitely a W. I think it's a pretty good looking skin. I don't play Scarlet Witch too much since like season 0 basically, so I don't know if I'm gonna pick this one up. I just feel like I don't really play the character enough, but I am curious to hear from you guys. What do you think of this one? Does it feel like it deserves the legendary, I guess, moniker, or do you feel like this could have just been an epic skin? Let me know down in the comment section below. Oh, but it doesn't stop there. I know that this is only a 500 megabyte update, but there's actually quite a lot of info covered in this particular update. So another thing that has been confirmed is something called the all-new event, Chrono-Storm. So basically what they're doing is they're going to allow us to go ahead and collect an extra 2,000 bonus Chrono Tokens. This event will be going on from August 28th, which is today, all the way through September 12th. And basically, it's just a way to either A, complete your battle pass a little bit quicker if you haven't done that yet, so you have Chrono Tokens to use on that, or of course, if you don't know, you can also convert every 1,000 Chrono Tokens into 100 units. So basically, it's the equivalent of 200 free units that you will be able to earn by just playing the game more. So just a nice little, I guess, reward, plus a nice way to get people who maybe haven't been able to keep up with their battle passes and kind of need to have that final push before season 4 arrives. This is definitely going to be a really helpful item. We also will be getting a slew of fixes across the board, starting with some smaller fixes, like just minor bugs that have been fixed. There's a bigger issue that was occurring on the Throne of Null map, where essentially the dynamic symbiote changes, like, you know, how the map would move around with the different symbiote tendrils moving and stuff, would sometimes actually trap characters inside of the map. So that will be fixed starting with this update. And then we are getting a couple of fixes also to hero specific changes. So Adam Warlock, there was a bug where essentially once you would hit your ultimate, you'd res your teammates. But if after you've just resed your teammates, the Adam Warlock character or player would die, they would actually lose all of their health as well. So that is obviously not supposed to happen. So that will be getting fixed. And then Blade players, you'll be happy to know that there was a bug that was causing healing problems between Blade as well as Rocket and Luna specifically. So that will also be addressed with the brand new patch. Now that is all the officially official stuff. Now let's get to the non-official stuff, because there is so much to talk about on that front as well. So first and foremost, Psylocke.gg over on Twitter did go ahead and confirm that Resource Rumble has been added into the competitive net code. Now, of course, this doesn't confirm that Resource Rumble will be getting rotated in like this week or next week, but it means that they are preparing for the possibility of making Resource Rumble a competitive or ranked mode as well. I'm very curious to hear what you guys think of that, just because I feel like, generally speaking, at least within my like circle of friends and people who follow the channel, most of them have said that they don't like the game mode. So I'm curious to hear from you guys. Would you actually want to see a competitive or ranked variant for Resource Rumble, or do you want it to just stay as a quick time, limited time thing? So next, let's talk about what everybody loves, and that is leaks. Deadpool, take it away.
These were leaked because of voice lines.
So yes, indeed, we have some exciting voice lines that have leaked and confirmed an incredible amount of dialogue and interactions between Wade Wilson, aka Deadpool, and a bunch of the roster that currently already exists in Marvel Rivals. Once again, courtesy of the folks over at XOX Leak over on Twitter, they went ahead and revealed a little over 2 minutes, almost 3 minutes of full-on voice lines of different characters like Rocket, Magic, and others interacting with clearly Deadpool, calling him by name and making very obvious, I guess, references, let's put it that way, to the one and only the Merc with the mouth. Now, of course, this is pretty dang exciting because we knew that Deadpool is one of those characters that they're working on, but the fact that there's already recorded voice lines of existing characters interacting with him is a very nice confirmation that he is probably a little further along than a lot of us anticipated. So that is definitely pretty dang exciting. I'm very much looking forward to hearing who will be voicing Deadpool in Marvel Rivals, just because obviously we know that Nolan North is voicing Rocket. So it would be funny if they do get Nolan to also be Deadpool, because then we could potentially see a world where it's Nolan talking to Nolan as Rocket and Deadpool. So that should be an absolute blast. Oh, but that wasn't it, because not only did we get the confirmed interactions of the roster with the Deadpool, we also got 25 seconds shared of voice lines of characters interacting with Matt Murdock, the man without fear, aka freaking Daredevil. So that is pretty dang incredible as well. Now, of course, for copyright sake and all that, if you guys want to see all that stuff, it's over on Twitter on the XOX Leak account. But the exciting stuff is that, again, Daredevil especially is one of those characters that now has been heavily rumored to possibly be debuting as early as next season. Like, some people believe that he might actually be one of the 2 characters that becomes playable next season. I guess the one concerning thing that a lot of people have pointed out with these 2 voice lines being leaked, or interactions of voice lines being leaked for both Deadpool and Daredevil, is that a lot of people immediately raise their hands and go like, oh my goodness, both of those guys are definitely going to be DPS. Like, there's no doubt that both of those characters end up being DPS characters, and that again reinforces the problem in the game where there are just way too many DPS characters and not enough tanks nor support. Now, I understand that worry, but what I would say about that is that A, we don't know for sure that they will be DPS, because I think you could creatively come up with an interesting way for both Deadpool and Daredevil to be support characters. I don't know how you make them tanks. I feel like that would be a lot more difficult to figure out, but I could see a world where you could actually figure out a way to make them actually support characters instead of DPS characters. So that could definitely be interesting. And then the other thing that I would say is that I feel like that's going to be inherently a problem with the game as a whole, just because the vast majority of the heroes of the Marvel Universe especially kind of fit the DPS role. So it's going to be a very difficult process for them, I think, to figure out how do you include like these uber popular characters like Daredevil and Deadpool, but then not oversaturate the DPS class as a whole. Now, since we're talking about gameplay and more specifically Daredevil and who and how he might actually play, we did also get this very interesting tweet from the previously mentioned Psylocke.gg, who say Daredevil's melee will actually include an X-shaped downward attack, which is way too specific, I feel like, to just be a random piece of news. But then in addition to that, you will also have a logic added to track footsteps and hide them from stealth characters. Now, the way that I'm interpreting this tweet is that basically he's going to have probably most likely some sort of an ability that either he grants to himself or maybe even to his teammates that allow you to see enemy footsteps, which again, that opens up the possibility of him possibly being a support class character that instead of healing and kind of focusing on the healing side of things, will offer more so like this extra utility that would essentially allow you to point out where enemies might be and probably also help you to deal with maybe some of the more faster or dive characters, you know, so that you specifically know like, oh, hey, I can spot a little bit of a trail of footsteps here. So that indicates that maybe there's a stealthy character hiding somewhere around the corner. So I feel like that's an interesting piece of information that has been, I guess, developing for Daredevil. But no matter what, I do want to hear from you guys. Would you be excited about Daredevil being added in the next season along with the long rumored Angela? Do you think that would be a bummer? Would you be okay if it was, let's say, 1 DPS and 1 tank next season? Or are you in the camp that like, hey, we better get 2 tanks or a tank and a support, or I will not play this game anymore? Now, we're not done yet. There's also another really cool thing that I had to share as someone who's a huge fan of trading cards. I've collected Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon cards for years. I am super duper excited to say that we actually are going to be getting Marvel Craft collectible cards. This is part of the Phantom line. I believe that it will be released exclusively in China. So unfortunately, this is not something that as of right now has been confirmed to be available outside of China. So that is definitely a bummer, especially because a lot of the cards look really, really pretty. Again, I guess in theory, maybe you could try to like import them if there's any like, you know, international sellers or something like that. But they do look really cool. They're going to have actual like different kinds of inserts in the set. So they will either have like art from the game, concept art from the game, but then in addition to that, they actually have autographed cards of the people that are working on the game, like the actual developers. And then in addition to that, they're actually going to also, it seems like, at least have some inserts of autographs from Peach Momoko. So that should be pretty dang cool. Again, if you're a trading card collector, and especially if you live in China, this is definitely going to be something, or you end up traveling to China, this is something that you should probably be on the lookout for, because it is definitely a pretty cool product. And then we got to talk about the list. What list am I talking about? Well, that would be this list right here from XOX League. Keep in mind that season 4 is really not that far away. I mean, we are just a couple of weeks away from September 12th, which is when season 4 will be dropping. Of course, next week, we're going to be starting to learn about what we can expect with September 12th, because they always share different announcements, and they also let like different creators play the game early, reveal the new characters, so on and so forth. So next week is going to be an insane week for Marvel Rivals in terms of excitement and reveals. So definitely stuff to be excited about. But this list right here from XOX League indicates to us some of the skins that we can still expect in terms of found things to unfold over the course of the next, I guess, like week and a half, 2 weeks for Marvel Rivals in terms of content. So we have an all original set of characters that are going to be getting original skins. That list includes a Luna Snow skin, a Hela skin, Groot, Loki, Thor, Jeff, Hawkeye, and Ultron. So that is a lot of skins. I don't expect all of those skins to be released all in the course of the next 2 weeks, unless if we get another mini battle pass or something like that. So that is probably not going to happen, unless if this is possibly an indication of some of the characters that will be in the actual season 4 battle pass. So something to think about. There's then a specific set of characters that will be getting comic book based skins. So excitingly so, Spider-Man is going to get another comic book based skin. That is fantastic. Then we have Invisible Woman getting another skin. Punisher, who will hopefully finally get his friggin' swimsuit special skin, because at this point, like, we're coming around to like the summer is almost over. I don't really understand why that skin hasn't been released yet. So hopefully that will be dropping here very, very soon. In addition to that, Human Torch will be getting a swimsuit special skin as well. And then, of course, we do know that September 5th will see the release of the Wastelanders version of Penny Parker. So we already know one of the 2 skins for next week, or I guess technically it could be a 1 skin week, kind of like this one, but I expect there to be 2 skins dropping in the store next week. So something to look forward to. Then interestingly enough, allegedly we're going to be getting 2 movie-inspired costumes, one of which is another movie-inspired Captain America. I'm very much looking forward to seeing which design they go with. I guess hopefully time will tell here very shortly. And then in addition to that, Rocket will also be receiving a movie-based costume as well, which again makes me kind of think, because I'm like, we already got, I feel like, his kind of most like iconic look from Guardians 3 as far as like a different looking outfit. So I'm very curious to see which direction they go with for that one. That is still not all, because the list does also include a bunch of recolor skins. So Luna Snow, Captain America, Spider-Man, Invisible Woman, Mantis, Star-Lord, Magneto, Punisher, and Blade are expected to receive recolors of one or maybe a couple of their existing skins, so something to look forward to on that front. And finally, allegedly we're going to be getting a Hulk accessory item, and then a few different FX, or I guess ultimate FX items for the Eldritch armor. So I assume that would probably be magic, I assume. Then the Sunshine Land Shark might be getting some sort of a possible effects effect. And then we're also going to get effects for Sunshine Raccoon, Queen in Black, and the Bounty Hunter. Whew, so that was a lot of stuff. I do want to apologize that I didn't have a Marvel Rivals update video for you guys last week. I just got absolutely overwhelmed with the insane amount of stuff that we got for Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. So I was gushing over that game, freaking out about all the cool stuff that was revealed. But we're back to our weekly Marvel Rivals update videos coming together. I did also want to take a quick moment and mention, I don't know if you guys saw this piece of news, because we're talking about different characters and all kinds of, I guess, future releases for Marvel Rivals in this video. They did also confirm that Marvel Rivals has got the green light, or kind of the thumbs up and the go ahead from Marvel proper, to create their own all original characters. And I saw some people freak out about this, because they were like, oh my goodness, how could this happen? Like, this is the end of the world, like blah blah. I'm like, first of all, it's something that's happened forever. Like in video games, in comics, many different times, people just take it upon themselves as creators to create new characters. Like Luna Snow was created for a video game and then eventually got folded into the comics. So it's not like an uncommon thing for this to happen. In addition to that, I think that having this extra, I guess, excuse to create original characters, I think is actually a good thing, in the sense that it gives them as developers a little bit more freedom about what kind of character they could come up with in terms of gameplay. Because anytime that they use existing characters, they have to make sense of the gameplay that they give those characters. So like, let's say if they give us like Doc Ock as a tank or a playable character, they can't just go out and be like, oh yeah, and then he could like phase and cut himself in half. Like, they can't do that, because that's not what the character is. They have to follow a certain strict guideline. Whereas if they come up with some wacky, crazy gameplay idea, but they can't find a Marvel character to pin that to, they're going to be stuck. Now they have a solution for that, because they could just be like, oh, let's just create our own unique new character. And who knows, it could actually be a cool thing. Like, I just think that a lot of people kind of overreacted to it, saying, oh, they're going to do only all original characters now, and they're going to ignore the Marvel characters, and we're not going to get all these cool, iconic characters. And I'm like, let's pump the brakes on that. We can clearly tell that they're recording voice lines for iconic characters like Daredevil and Deadpool. We know Angela is on the way. We know lots of other characters like Captain Marvel are on the way. There's been tons of other characters that have either full outright leaked or have been hinted at to be in development. So I just think that people kind of took that article and jumped to way too many extreme conclusions about what it means for the future of the game. But like always, voice your opinions down in the comments section below. While you're doing that, also don't forget to scroll on down, smash that thumbs up button. Thank you so very much for your kindness and your continued support. I will hopefully see you guys here tomorrow for the brand new Marvel Rivals live stream. Looking forward to checking out the new update and seeing what kind of shenanigans we could get into in the last few weeks before season 4 debuts. I am so excited to see what they cook up for us. We obviously know some stuff already in terms of the leaks, but it's going to be really exciting next week when we actually get official confirmations from Marvel Rivals themselves about which characters are debuting, which maps, and so on and so forth. Of course, thanks all for watching. Like I always say, I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. Peace out. See y'all later, alligators. Bye-bye, everybody.